I know my boundaries. I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's ass. I know
he just got knocked out, right?
Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. All this, but I want to fight you.
AJ this morning, he went, listen, of course I'd fight. I mean, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was,
I wouldn't fight him. I'd bash him.
Yeah. but he might do it. He might just do it for just for doing it for the sake of it. But obviously we know. Listen, Jake creates massive events.
Look into the camera and say it directly because it just has to be said. Jake Paul, sir, you are absolutely delusional.
Jake Paul has been talking about fighting top boxers, and now Anthony Joshua has responded. Speaking to his promoter, Eddie Hearn, Joshua simply said, listen, I'd fight him. Hearn shared this, making it clear that AJ never backs down from a challenge. A fight between them seems unlikely because of the big gap in experience, but Joshua's response has got people talking. Whether Paul really wants this fight or is just building hype is unclear, but one thing is for sure. AJ is always ready.
I want to ask you a question because the world of media went mental this morning. Anthony Joshua against Jake Paul. Please put this to bed or light the fire. What's going on?
I mean, sorry. This is the first time I've spoken about the fight. To be honest, I look at it and I think Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I mean, look, for me, we'd do it for the banter. Do you know what I mean? AJ would fight Jake Paul. He'd fight anyone, to be honest with you. And if Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. But the only thing that was disappointed was he says 2026. I mean, that's like calling someone out. That's like me saying, LA Olympics for the surfing, 2028, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? Do it in 2025 if you really want to do it. You're not going to get really much better at this stage, but I don't know. Those two have spoken. I spoke to AJ this morning. He went, listen, of course I'd fight. I mean, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was,
I wouldn't fight him. I'd bash him.
Yeah. But he might do it. He might just do it for just for doing it for the sake of it. But obviously we know. Listen, Jake creates massive events, right? You know that's going to create unbelievable viewership. And no disrespect to Jake Paul, it's a straightforward night's work. But I like this calling out of Canelo and all this. AJ it's another challenge up there. But if they're game, why not?
What did he say, AJ, to you about it?
He said, why not? I said, what do you want me to say when I'm asked about it? And he said, tell everyone I'll fight anyone, anytime. It's not a problem for me.
Jake Paul has set his sights on Anthony Joshua, claiming AJ has no chin, no skills, and is stiff. The YouTuber turned boxer took to Twitter, posting a picture of Joshua making a phone call with the caption, "Look who called 2026 Anthony Joshua." Paul insists he would beat up the former heavyweight champion, stirring up speculation. On the other hand, Joshua shared a screenshot on Instagram showing a moment when he was on a call with Jake Paul. This post came shortly after Paul publicly called him out, saying he would defeat Joshua in a boxing match. This social media exchange has sparked talk among fans about the possibility of a fight between the former champion and Paul. Meanwhile, Jake Paul shared a post from BF of Sports which stated that Paul had sent a list of desired fights for 2025 and 2026 on February 10th, just 3 days after his Canelo fight fell apart. Among the 6 names on that list was Anthony Joshua. The post also revealed that Jake received a call to confirm if he was serious, and he made it clear that he was. As 2026 approaches, the boxing community and fans have strong opinions on this challenge. Many believe Paul's ambition to fight an experienced heavyweight like Joshua is unrealistic and overly ambitious.
Real deal respond to me as I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect of this. Amanda Serrano said, "At Jake Paul is the truth." Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights. Then he asked for the toughest fights ever, and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Oh, crap, on second thought, he is out of his freaking mind, you're right. That was more of just Amanda backing her guy, you know what I'm saying, the co-founder of MVP and someone that she really respects. And
Reports suggest that Jake Paul is also set to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, following Davis's recent controversial match against Lamont Roach. Despite this, Paul has still made it clear that he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, showing his ambition to take on big-name opponents in different weight classes.
Gervonta Davis, and she's not the only one saying that. Dan Raphael said the same thing earlier that day or maybe yesterday. I can't believe that that's true or if that was really going to happen. Essentially, the idea being, had Gervonta Davis beat Lamont Roach, he was going to fight Jake Paul next. And this is why I say, like, it's delusional, but it's possible. Like, he almost had the Canelo fight, and think what you will about how that went down and how realistic that was going to be. I legit think it was probably close to happening. Now you're telling me there were discussions and potentially, you know, signed to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. And again, I do believe the reason for that is Jake's massive size advantage. Again, that's like a 100-pound weight advantage. How would that even work?
After his fight with Lamont Roach, Gervonta Davis called out Jake Paul during the post-fight conference. This unexpected challenge adds another twist to Jake Paul's growing boxing career.
Who were you gonna call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
God damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
Jake Paul's bold call-out of Anthony Joshua, a two-time unified heavyweight champion, has surprised the boxing world. Many find it shocking that Paul, with his limited experience, would make such big claims about a fighter of Joshua's level.
Jake Paul has just called Anthony Joshua out. Yes, Anthony Joshua, AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This brother called this man out. Oh my God. Now, in a recent clip on Jake Paul's podcast, I think, he basically said that he will beat Anthony Joshua's ass and he has no skill, no chin, and he's too stiff for him. He also apologized to Anthony, saying, Anthony, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I know I can beat your ass. This guy is tapped in the head. Then again, he almost got a fight with Tank. If Tank beat Lamont Roach when they drew, he would have fought Jake Paul. It was lined up, basically. A lot of people get mad when people say he's the face of boxing. These highly rated boxers want to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know what to say, honestly. But one thing for sure, AJ will never fight. AJ is too classy for that. Way too classy. He respects the sport of boxing too much to fight this guy. Absolute plonker. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And make sure you follow for the most up-to-date and sharpest boxing news and content on TikTok.
The boxing community has quickly reacted to Jake Paul's comments about Anthony Joshua. Critics point to Paul's previous loss to Tommy Fury, questioning how he can judge Joshua's skills. One Twitter user, Unanimous Decision, posted, YouTube boxer Jake Paul, who lost to Tommy Fury, says heavyweight Anthony Joshua has no chin, no skill, is stiff, and that he would beat him. What is this guy talking about? Despite this, Anthony Joshua has shown openness to the challenge. He reportedly told his promoter, Eddie Hearn, listen, I'd fight him. Hearn shared this response, making it clear that Joshua is not one to turn down a fight. However, many in the boxing world see this matchup as unrealistic due to the huge gap in experience and skill. Some even call the idea delusional, questioning if the fight would be legitimate or competitive.
Well then, it looks like Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul might be in discussions to fight. They were both on a call to each other earlier, and the viral video went round of Jake Paul saying he would knock out Anthony Joshua. If I'm being completely honest, I think Jake Paul would actually be lucky to make it out alive, and like, I'm actually being dead serious. Like, I think Jake Paul would be lucky to make it out of the ring with Anthony Joshua alive. Tyron Woodley literally had Jake Paul on skates and had Jake Paul panicking for his life. Imagine what Anthony Joshua would do. Look at what Joshua did to the last non-boxer he fought in, Francis Ngannou. That is not going to end well for Jake Paul. But look, let's be real here. This fight should never happen. It's an absolute disgrace to the sport if it does. And yeah, there's got to be a lot of backlash if this actually happens, because it's actually probably worse to the sport of boxing than what Fury in Ngannou was when it came around, or, you know, yeah, or Mayweather McGregor. Like, you know, it can't happen.
MMA fighter Anthony Smith has commented on Jake Paul's approach to boxing, saying Paul targets legendary fighters to make big money. Smith believes Paul's strategy is to provoke famous names through trash talk, leading to high-profile fights that bring huge paydays. Many have noticed that Paul often picks older or less active fighters, which has been a major criticism from boxing purists.
Legends, older, shorter, smaller, past their prime legends that have spent their entire careers running their bodies into fucking car accidents, and then we hold these guys near and dear to our heart. and then this fuckhead just pulls him out of fucking semi-retirement and then is not.
Jake Paul's ambitions go beyond boxing, as he has also shown interest in fighting MMA star Conor McGregor. Paul claims his boxing skills are getting better, while saying McGregor's abilities are declining with age. Many doubt this, given McGregor's background and achievements in combat sports. Paul's comments show his confidence and his strategy of calling out big-name athletes to boost his reputation in the fight world.
McGregor's done?
I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his in boxing, and I have the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And time, he's only getting older, and I'm only getting better.
Many fans want to see a fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul because they believe Joshua would dominate and humble Paul in the ring. Paul's habit of calling out top fighters and claiming he is better has made him one of the most talked about figures in combat sports. Many feel his confidence in challenging Joshua is unrealistic due to the huge gap in experience, skill, and weight class. Despite this, the idea of a fight has gained massive attention, with some hoping Joshua would finally put an end to Paul's bold claims in the ring.
You have got to be taking the mick. Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims, "I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass." You know what? I want this to happen just so Anthony Joshua could just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP and Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers to this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it, just to see him get knocked clean out. The fact that he thinks he can compete with these high-level boxers, even though he lost to Tommy Fury, is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out? I'm saying 5 seconds.
Anthony Joshua has shared his thoughts on Jake Paul's influence in boxing. While he agrees that Paul lacks experience as a boxer, he admits that Paul has helped the sport by bringing in big paydays and financial success. Joshua acknowledges that Paul's ability to attract attention and sell fights has introduced a new audience to boxing, even if traditional boxing fans don't always appreciate it.
Jake Paul? Yeah, good. Great for boxing. Good luck to him. He's trying. Zero amateur experience. Throwing himself in the deep end. I guarantee you he'll probably learn a lot more than a lot of fighters will that are just half-hearted with it. Man's throwing himself in the deep end, putting himself under pressure. When you can deal with that amount of pressure, you have to get better at it. So yeah, good luck to him. Good luck to him.
Interestingly, Jake Paul has long admired Anthony Joshua, calling him one of his favorite fighters. Despite his recent trash talk, Paul has previously praised Joshua for his achievements in boxing skills. However, his latest comments show frustration with the boxing industry, saying there is too much focus on money and politics instead of making big fights happen.
Everyone's been wanting to see happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight. And what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money. Get in there. Make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like men.
Jake Paul has boldly claimed that he is the only real fighter in boxing, saying he brings excitement and energy to the sport. While some traditional boxers dismiss YouTube boxing, Anthony Joshua has a more balanced view. He believes YouTube boxing has helped the sport by bringing in a new audience and increasing viewership. Joshua acknowledges that fighters like Jake Paul have introduced boxing to younger fans who may not have been interested before. Jake Paul often calls out boxing legends, offers them big paydays, and then trash talks them after their fights. His fight against Tommy Fury ended in his first professional loss, but he still presents himself as the biggest name in boxing.
Who is the most power you've ever felt in a fight?
I would say Tommy Fury. It's the shots you don't see So Tommy was a little tricky. Mike's punches I could see coming. He was strong, but he didn't land anything clean. So I honestly didn't feel Mike Tyson's full power, but that's good. I mean, you don't want to. So
I feel like he lost confidence second round. Like he stopped giving his all.
He just started surviving.
One of the most controversial moments in Jake Paul's career was calling out Mike Tyson, a former heavyweight champion and one of boxing's most feared fighters. Since Tyson was far past his prime, many fans were outraged at the idea. Although Paul later won a fight by decision in a different bout, the backlash was strong, with many believing he was disrespecting Tyson's legacy.
Wasn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah, I think that's what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
I love that dude.
Me too.
And he was a larger than life figure in my childhood.
Truly, me
when
too.
I was a kid, when he was the champ, it was like people don't understand what a champ he was. Like he wasn't just the heavyweight champion of the world. He was an executioner. Like
Truly.
Every fight was just a matter
I don't
of how
remember
long was it going to last.
which fight it was that I went to go see a couple of fights, and I actually went to go see Julio Cesar Chavez fight, and that's when I met Tyson in the green room.
Watching Netflix on Friday night, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson?
Yes, I was. But what did I make of it? I think commercially and a business sense, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Both men made a ton of money. So best of luck to them. Congratulations. As far as the boxing fight, it wasn't a fight. It was a tip and tap. Don't hit me, I won't hit you. Circle the ring a little bit. Make it look good. That's all it was. So I don't really make too much of it.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.